Now the next thing we're going to do is fold this up, fold the two ends up like this, and using I mean you could pin it, but it's very thick, and right on the edge there, because I know what I want to do next, right on the edge I'm just going to put my wonder clips. And we're used to sewing 1/4 inch seams for making stuff, aren't we? But in this instance we want to do a 1/2 inch seam, and when I'm at it I'll do the other one as well. This one, it's not, you know, there's hardly anything to it, so I can easily stick a pin in. It's a bit more difficult to stick a pin in foam, but this one I can stick a pin in and hold it, yeah? But what we want to do then is take something, anything you've got. What have I got here? They're all very big, aren't they? Let's go for a little one. Yeah. All I want to do then is do a 1/2 inch seam. So, yeah, I'm gonna take my clips off for a minute. That's a 1/2 inch. Are you seeing this? Yeah. Put my 1/2 inch on the end. Oh. Get my friction pen, which apparently doesn't like working on foam. But get my friction pen and draw my 1/2 inch seam. Prop those back on. Yeah. And the same the other end. The reason I'm saying to draw a 1/2 inch seam is because we got so used to using a 1/4 inch seam that you may find that difficult to manage under your foot. Okay, so 1/2 inch, so we can follow that line now. So literally we're going to sew those lines, and I'm going to do exactly the same. Let me put it down on this one. Exactly the same on this one. Put my pin out of the way a bit. 1/2 inch that end. Do you mind? Half inch that end, and we're just going to sew those ends. That's all we're going to do. Okay, so my video kind of gave out on me when I was doing this before, but anyway, basically I sewn up, I changed my stitch length to 3, and I sewn up where we marked, turn it around, the lines on the pieces before. Now, if you've got a mini iron arm that you would do sleeves on, say, or something like that, use that. I haven't got that. I just put my iron on. I'm on the wool setting because this is polyester type material, so I don't want to melt it. And what I'm going to use now, this is a bit of a shout out now to Greshna, because I know she's got one. Yeah. Greshna, this is another way you can use your clapper, yeah? You can fit that, put that on your clapper, and obviously, guys, if you don't have this, you could find, and you don't have a sewing, you know, a sleeve sewing arm, you could utilise something different, but we need to press this seam out, yeah? On both sides, this 1/2 inch seam, and obviously if you've got a clapper you can utilise that instead of an arm, instead of a sewing arm. So I'm just, shall I use a bit of steam? A little bit of steam. So I'm just pressing our seam open, change it round. Not brilliant, but I'm going to do exactly the same on the other end. Yeah, squish it, and it's only foam, it'll bounce back. And do the same on the other end. So, Grashna, you can do this. Mind you, knowing you, you probably got an arm for your ironing board as well, but I haven't got one of those. So I just, if I need to do this, I'm just doing it on the top of my clapper. Yep. So I've done that. So I've now pressed those seams open. And obviously, because I'm doing it twice, because I'm doing it in two modes, one the foam, one the fleece. Oh, I can pull my pins out now, don't need them, do I? So, I'm trying to make these videos shorter, but I don't know. I keep finding things to say. I think it's me. I think it's me. I just got the gabble of the, I don't know. If I was Irish, I could understand, but I'm not, am I? Because they have the blarney. I don't have the blarney. Oh, I've mocked that up because it's fusible. Anyway, press that out. Got to be even more careful with fusible things, which is why, generally speaking, I like to use non-fusibles, because then I don't have to worry about it. Right? So press them out. Oh, see? Fusible, it wants to stick to itself. Right, so literally we've just pressed the seams out. That's all we've done. All right. So the next thing we're going to do, now having pressed out the side seams that were 1/2 an inch, is that we're going to sew the bottoms. So centralising it, yeah. Using my wonder clips. I'm using my wonder clips on the foam because it's so thick. So right way up. Wonder clip on the middle. Wonder clip on the end. I hope you can see that. So yeah, and exactly the same the other side. Fold it down. Actually, it's probably easier if you put a one clip in the middle. If it were me, I'd just use the one, but I'm showing you, so I'm putting on like more because it's probably required more. Now, the sides are the only place that we're going to use 1/2 an inch. On this seam and this seam along the sides now, which is making the bottom, we're only going to use 1/4 an inch. Definitely only 1/4 an inch. And exactly the same now with this. Yeah. I can use pins on this because it's nowhere near as tough as that. So I'm just going to put a pin, big pin in there. Move it because I'm not happy. I want those seams to be stretched out in the same way. So I always move my pin back so it's not going to hit my needle. 1/4 an inch this time. Make sure those seams are equal. Stick a pin in. So the next thing I'm going to do, yeah, move that one down a bit, is do a 1/4 an inch, 1/4 an inch, 1/4 an inch. I mean, I'm going to be pulling these out as I go. 1/4 inch. Still using my walking foot, yeah. Still doing it on 3, length of stitch 3, okay. And I'm going to go and sew those now. Alright, so we're ready to go now. Obviously we've sewn the bottom. This is the foam one. And I'm just going to poke out the sides. Poke out the corners as I turn it right side down. So there he is. Now this is the fusible fleece. Do exactly the same. Turn it the right way out. Okay. So that's the fusible fleece. So they're okay. Now we're going to turn to our 10-inch square. And we've not cut this at all. This is a complete 10-inch square. And I'm just going to plop my ruler back. Oops, one fell off. I'm just going to, there's my 1, 1. I'm just going to plop this on and check the size. 10, 10, 10. Right, it is 10. And using my, well, actually I'm going to do it on the back. Because I'm not sure which is the front. Oh, that was the back. Ugh, terrible with this, can't really look at this, white on white. Yeah, that's the back. I'm going to do it on the back. The only reason I'm doing it on the back is because I don't know how much I can get to it with the iron once it's in. Right? But, so what I need to do this time is exactly the same as we did before. Oh, I'm confusing myself. For both of these, is right on the edge. Yeah, both edges. I'm drawing a 2.5 inch. Turn it round. I'm only turning it round because I'm right-handed. You'll be doing this the opposite way round if you're left-handed. Draw my 2.5 inch on the other side. Now, top to bottom is a bit different. So I'm going to get this ruler out. And what I want is 1, 1 in the corner. And I want 3 inches on the bottom line. Just looking at my ruler to see where the 3-inch line is. Okay. Yep. Yep. 3 inches up from the bottom. You say to me, well, why 3 inches now? Because we have to take into account that this is an inch bigger than the piece we started with. So we're adding it back in right now, which is going to give us our lip that folds over. Okay, so on that piece of fabric now, we've got 3 inch at the top, 3 inch at the bottom, but 2.5 on the side. And I'm going to just do that again because that's what we need to do. What do you want?
Close the door.
Where's what door?
Close the door. That's all I can do is hear you going on about 2 inches one side and 1.5 inches the other side.
Flipping blues. Right. Again. Two and a half inches on the side. Oh, I think I've done this the wrong way up now because he comes in and I forget what I'm doing. Right, 2.5 inches on the side, but I want 1, 1 in the corner, 3 inch mark on the bottom. So I want 3 inches across, turn it round, so that is saying 1, 1 here, 3 inches on the bottom, and make my line across. Alright, notice the difference? Yeah, okay. Now, forget your pen now. Get your scissors again. I don't know what I've done with mine. Oh yeah. My back's starting to ache now. Again, the skinny bits we want to cut out. Not the fat bits, the skinny bits we want to cut out. Okay, and in the same fashion as we did before, not the top and the bottom, but the sides, which are narrower than the top and the bottom, take your scissors and we're just going to cut out without going over the line. Oops. I love these scissors. Oh, oh, made a mistake. Cracked it. It'll be alright. We're just going to cut out those narrower sidey bits. Who's making these scissors? Draper. These are Draper. But I tell you what, oh, no one touches these scissors ever. Only ever use them for fabric. I don't use them for bosal. I don't, just fabric. Right, so we've got a nice fat eye again. And exactly the same with this one. Yeah? Oh, I might cut this bit out because I'm prolonging the video. Right. Okay, so now, one funny weird, isn't it? So, yeah. We've got 2 fat eyes. Again, put them out of the way. And now I guess, because I've marked them, the last time I need to mark them, again, I'm going to go to the iron and just quickly get rid of all those marks. Right, so now with these liners, and my only thought is I've got to make sure, look at the light, and make sure that I'm doing it the right way up because of my white on white. So put these sides together again. Yeah, this time I can use pins because it's pretty feeble. Always point my pin to where I'm going to sew. You know how I do it. You don't have to, of course you don't. But I do it just so that if something happens in between, I know what I'm supposed to be doing. Oh, take this to the light. Oh, yeah, see? It's that way around. Pretty sides together. Again. Best you can, match it up. And pin it. Pretty sides together. And then, and I do suggest you mark this because, it's not our usual thing. 1/2 inch. This is the only time we use 1/2 inch. Everything else is 1/4 inch. But these side seams, and the reason we do that is because we want it to fit snug inside one of these. This is the only reason. But 1/2 inch line on the sides, right? Only time we use 1/2 inch lines. And even I have a problem with 1/2 inch under the machine. I can do 5/8, I can do 1/4, 1/2 inch, I struggle. So draw it. Go sew it. Now, I'm going to put my machine back down to 2.5 stitch lengths now to sew these 2 sides up because it's just a flimsy bit of material. So 2.5 inch on my stitch length. Right, so here's my inners back, and obviously having ironed it, any purple mark that I wrote on it is gone with the friction pen. So this is inside out now, 1/2 inch seams which I've ironed flat in exactly the same way as we did with the other. I use my clapper. I don't have an arm to rest it over, so I use my clapper. So now I've pressed those 1/2 inch seams flat, and the next thing we're going to do, both the same, without trying to misform it in any way. Just going to pin so I can go along the edges, and the same with this side. and I'll do this on both of them, because I don't know, you know, they should fit, you know, they're no different sizes, they should fit both. So I'm going to do a 1/4 inch now, because the sides is the only place we did 1/2 inch. I'll do a 1/4 inch seam on both sides on both of them. Yeah, 1/4 inch seam, put them together on both of them, come back and tell you what the next bit is. And I think I said on the other video, on the other camera, that I am now reducing my stitches to 2.5 on my machine. Okay, so having done that, here we are back. I did a 1/4 inch seam down the long edges, went a few stitches, went back, carried down at the end, went back. So, you know, do a back stitch on, because we want this at the end of the day, you know, to not have any holes in the corners, so you do need to back stitch it. These should be the same, I'm hoping that they are, because they're made out the same size. What's the next thing we do? I'm trying to think now. Probably, this is the foam one. I'm going to put the foam one, this is still inside out, yeah? This is still wrong side on the outside. This is the right way out, and I am now going to pop that inside what I've just made, which, you know, takes a bit of fiddling to get it in, but that's what I want. And I also, and it does take a little bit of tugging and moving around, I want these 1/2 inch seams on the side to match up, just top to top match up. So again, on the foam, I'm going to use a wonder clip, get it in there, hold it, yeah. And again on the other side, this is the important part, get a wonder clip in and hold it seam to seam. Now, having done that, I can, you know, pull it about a little bit if I want, and I want to pull it up a bit because I want the tops to match together. So I'm going to put a clip on both sides, and obviously I'm going to do exactly the same with the fusible felt one, exactly the same. I'm going to plop that in there, bad side out on the white, good side on the middle, plop that in there, and I think I'm still going to use wonder clips, match the seams, both sides, get it in there, match the seams, match the tops, match the seams, both sides, put a clip on it, put more clips on it. If you got, you can take away something off your machine so that this will fit around the arm of your machine, that's good. If not, you're going to have to lay it on your machine, squish this out of the way, lay it on your machine. Oh, let me show it to you. Pretend like the needle's here. If you haven't got an arm, you're going to have to squish it down and then sew and turn it as you go. If you've got an arm, it's easier because then you can sew from this side, but to be honest with you, equally as good either which way you do it, because now we're going to sew a 1/4 inch down from the top all the way around on both, well, whichever version you're doing. 1/4 inch seam. Now we're going to sew on the inside or the outside, whichever way you're doing it, but a 1/4 inch seam all the way around the top. Oops, made a mistake. Should have said to you on one side of your stitching. I can't go back now, can't show you. So, oh, why is it my quick unpick won't work when I want it to? Right, on one side, oh, of your bottom line, please leave a gap. It'd be easier if I took this one out. I should have said that to you. Just on the one side, leave an opening. Now, if you were doing this properly, oh, gotta get me needle. Gotta get me make myself a hole. Right, having made myself a hole, now I can turn it around and do it the right way around. Leave yourself a turning gap. That was my mistake. So sorry. So sorry. Things are going on tonight. Trying to, you know, smoke pipe of peace with someone, and it's not happening, and I don't know where I am. So I'm a bit disturbed. So having like made this, yeah, where I said to you, let's go back. I said to you, 1/4 inch down the side, 1/4 inch down the side. What I should have said to you was 1/4 inch, stop. If you're doing it realistically, back stitch, because that'll give you more strength. Leave a gap to turn, oh well, probably about 2 inches. Then continue, start, go back on yourself to strengthen that edge, and go forward and go back, yeah? So it leaves you a turning gap. I didn't do it on mine. So many things going on. I've done it now. I've just opened it up with the doodah, so I've done mine now. But I'm very sorry, I forgot to say that, so I'm going to have to put something on the video where I get to you saying, do that, say, no, don't do that, that's wrong. Okay, so putting that back in now. Get back in there, you silly sod. And gripping everything as I should. But everything else I said to you about doing a 1/4 inch around the top, of course, all that's good. I just suddenly remembered we got no turning gap. We need a turning gap. We need this is that side. We need a turning gap. We'll sort that out in a minute, not a problem. Boom. So working around the camera. Honestly, if you saw how I am, I could take all of this off and put it just through the arm of the machine and sew it from the other side out, but I'm not. This is because even when I make my handbags and what have you, this is how I do it. So it's under there. I got the walking foot on. All I have to try and make sure is that the outside fabric is meeting the top fabric as it goes around. I got this on 250 now. That's 2.5 stitch lengths, and I'm using the walking foot obviously because this is the foam. I just keep checking that my outside material, or what is a liner, is matching the top as I'm going around. Yeah, it means you've got to fiddle with it and poke it around, but we can give it a good press. You see, just make sure that fabric comes to the top. I can sort any untoward busyness out later. So I prefer to go around the inside, right? And just continue. Now here I want to make sure the fabric is all up together. But you see, I'm not racing. I'm just using the outside edge of this foot, which I know is 1/4 inch, okay? And you could do if you had your ordinary 1/4 inch foot, your piecing foot on with the bar, you could do it just as easily. This is another thing that I have, which I have on, well, because I've got so many things on this machine, but anyway. So I'm literally pushing it, prodding it. You wait and see what we do with handbags. Pushing it, prodding it. Just trying to get it to behave as I go round. Keep checking it. Do a bit, keep checking it. Oh my God. I am actually back. And I'm just going to do a little back stitch on that. I'm actually back to where I started. Yo! Right, so that's that one done. Now, this is the flimsier one of the two. The one that I've made with fusible fleece. Okay, so here we go again. I can go faster on this one because it's not as difficult. Make sure the fabric's in the right place. Make sure my foot is in the right place. Oh, see, I want it to come up to there. All the way along, I'm checking that the inside is meeting the outside. Okay, so here we are. Oh, got so much on the floor, so much to clear up. So now we've done the 1/4 inch all around the outside. I've done it on both. And I'm sorry I forgot to mention this earlier, but now what we need to do is to turn it through this gap. If you've done it the correct way, which means that you have back stitch so that the seam won't rip. I had to rip my seam because I forgot to do it, but if you've done it the correct way, it's going to be easier than what I'm doing right now, but I can recover, you know. That's me. So put your hand in without trying to make it any bigger than it is, and this is the foam one, so yeah, the foam one is going to be a bit more difficult. This is going to take a little while. Oh, actually this is going well. To just turn it the right way out. Yeah, now you'll see the box part of it, and so the inside part of it, what we need to do is to sort out that seam, which I'll show you in a minute. But before I show you how to do that, let's pretend that's all sorted out. The whole point of us, you need to get your finger in it and press it out how you want it and even things out around it, is the whole point of the way that we cut it. I'm just easing it as I go around. The way we cut the liner an inch bigger than the bottom on a couple of angles means that you get this faux binding. Yeah, this faux binding effect. So instead of having it look like that, which I don't want, I want the faux binding which matches what I did on my machine cover. Yeah, so now having done that on the one, that's the one which, if you're a specialist sewer, you need to go to the iron now, because this is your inside, poke all your bits back in, press it, hold it down like that and press it, so you've got your 1/4 inch on both sides, and go press it, so it's lovely. Then you can hand stitch if that's your ilk. It's not mine. I don't hand stitch anything. well, to be honest, no, that's a lie, because when I made the, what did I make? Oh, going back, I sent them out. What are they called? Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. Mine's gone now. But, okay. When I made these for the lucky winners in the group, I did hand stitch, whip stitched, hand stitched, ladder stitched, which way you want to do it. I did to make it invisible, but I'm not going to. What I'm going to do is that when I've successfully manipulated that to be exactly how I want it, I'm going to put that down under my machine, and with an 8/7 inch, I'm just going to sew it across. Because at the end of the day, that's all going to be in there at the bottom of my bag, and nobody's going to flip and see it, are they? Then, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put it under my machine, and I am going to stitch in the ditch all around that 1/4 inch lip on both of them. Alright?